ready to give an extended hand to come and help us. There are lots of times, the pediatric intensive care unit, we have a very, very thin nursing staff. Anytime we needed help, Rosalind was there. She would come, even though it was out of her comfort level of care, she would still help us out to help the patients so the patients would get better. They always dress well, actually. I was very jealous of how they dress well. But on other note, what I wanted to say here today is I've been working here for 20 years, nothing comparing to what she has given here. This place is our second family. We are part of a family here. Even though we cannot hurt, we cannot have the feeling of how much Daryl is hurting, but we are hurting too. And I honestly believe that. So we are here to support you, Daryl. This is your family, away from your family. And again, I wanted to give the condolences from all of the medical staff to you and your family. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Simnani. There were different people that I'd reached out to, but because of all of the events, I didn't get all of my emails. So I'm not going to call on anybody and put them in an awkward situation if you got an email from me. But I would encourage you, if you did get the email and you want to come up and share your remarks, to please do so. So I would open it at this time. Kathy, would you like to come up?
All right. This is a very sad day for Northridge Hospital, and we're going to truly miss Rosalind. But I do want to talk about some of the fun things. Last night in the NICU at Change of Shift, we all sat around telling stories, and I remembered back, oh my gosh, more than 10 years ago, we went to a neonatal conference at the Disneyland Hotel. And we were in the conference all day, and there's a picture of Rosalind, how she dressed, always beautiful with her pearls. And we decided we wanted to go to Disneyland. So we ran to our room and we put our jeans and our tennis shoes on, and we went to Disneyland. We were there until it closed. We ran from ride to ride like two little children, and it was so much fun. We ended with Splash Mountain, and we were wet, and we went back to the hotel. But she was such a wonderful, a lot of energy person, and touched so many people's lives. And I do want to say for Dr. Halpern, who can't be here today, that he wants to honor her life and thank her for all the work she did in the NICU taking care of the babies, and that he was really sorry he couldn't be here today.
Anyone else would like to come forth?
Rosalind was my best friend and like a sister to me. I loved her dearly. I still can't believe she's gone. I was lucky to spend a couple days with her this week. I was looking at houses and she went with me. And the house that I ended up buying, she loved, and she said if she could, she would move in with me. I also was lucky enough to spend her last night over at my house. I feel blessed for this time together. I met Rosalind in nursing school, and she has been my friend for over 30 years. We have shared many important events together. She was at my wedding. I was in the delivery room during the birth of her daughters Elizabeth and Christine. My family was present in Las Vegas when she married Daryl. I will miss her weekly visits when she came to spend the night because she needed to work the following day. She loved her job. She was a caregiver. She took care of her mother, father when they needed her. She also helped her sisters and brothers. She was always there when I needed a friend. She loved to dance. Her favorite color was lavender. She was quite the acrobat. She loved to go to her friend Bobby Yorkie's and work out on the trapeze. When she entered a room, she brightened it up with her bubbly aura. She was a beautiful, vibrant, loving person that I love with all my heart. I love you, Rosalind. Rest in peace, and I will always love you.
As a reminder, if you could, come on up, identify who you are and in what capacity that you knew Rosalind, because a lot of people don't know all of us.
My name is Linda, and I'm one of the pediatric intensive care nurses. I'm honored and privileged to speak about Rosalind on behalf of the NICU nursing staff at Northridge Hospital. Yesterday, when I walked into the NICU, a somber mood was felt in the unit. As I approached the nurses, they knew what I was there for and what I wanted to talk about. Some were reluctant to speak of Rosalind because of their grief, and some were just simply unable. But as the day slowly wore on, funny stories and good memories began to unfold. Smiles began to appear, and yes, a few tears spilled forth, and the mood began to lift. And we realized that this was a good thing, to be able to talk and share our experience about someone who meant so much to us and was so full of life and love. Passionate. That was one word used to describe her over and over. Rosalind was passionate about so many things in her life, whether it was regarding her political views, the latest book she was reading, religion, or her beautiful family. Rosalind was more than happy to share her thoughts and ideas about any or all of the above. One doctor in particular, I won't mention any names, Dr. Glatz, would enjoy sparring with Rosalind over their opposing political views. They challenged each other, neither one backing down from their committed superior opinions, but equally matched with their righteousness. The doctor admitted to his enjoyment and entertainment of it all, just part of another day with Rosalind. When he felt that he adequately stirred the pot, he would simply stroll out of the vicinity of Rosalind and go about his daily business of attending to the babies. Rosalind, on the other hand, was left flabbergasted and frustrated with his free-thinking, liberal, progressive ideas. Really, how could he be so close-minded? And the nurses she was working with were blessed to hear about the fallout for the rest of the entire day. Thanks, Dr. Glatz. But in the doctor's defense, to show her he did appreciate her, he would bring her in donuts for all the nurses, and to her especially the lemon-filled ones, which of course she ate with passion. Until one day, during the Obama election, Dr. Glatz brought in the donuts as usual with the lemon-filled ones for Rosalind. But this time, on the top of the box, on this particular day, he wrote boldly, "Obama Victory Donuts." Which of course infuriated Rosalind to no end, being a staunch political conservative and all, and would not touch the donuts. Thinking that this was just a one-time thing, I asked for some reason, "So how long did this go on, Dr. Glatz?" And he informed me, "Oh, for months." Well, needless to say, she finally broke down and could not resist any longer and began eventually to eat the donuts anyway. Rosalind was an avid reader and was constantly educating herself on the latest book relating, for example, how to reverse diabetes, or best organic foods on the market, or even a book about what kind of diet we should eat if we had a certain blood type. Well, I never heard of that one, but she exchanged books with some of the nurses and was happy to underline them, all the important things to remember. She was very health conscious and felt the need to explain the dangers of high fructose corn syrup, along with the importance and benefits of eating organic foods. Of course, she would always seem to bring this topic up during one of the many potlucks, as the nurses chowed down their lunches complete with all the high fructose corn syrup desserts, and along with all those nasty, unhealthy preservatives. Well, you tried, Rosalind. But wait a minute, what's up with those lemon donuts? I was amazed to learn Rosalind also had an exceptional athletic gift as a high-flying trapeze artist in her younger years, in a circus to boot. As a matter of fact, she had rediscovered her talent of the skill with recent photos she shared of herself swinging for the bars of a trapeze. There has even been talk of her spinning cartwheels in the NICU, which immensely astonished, not to mention entertained the staff looking on. Apparently, she was also quite the dancer, and rumor has it that she could keep up with Michael Jackson, as proof on a video that was seen recently. Her talents were unending. But there was another side to Rosalind, and that was compassion. She was so proud to be a nurse, and even more proud to be part of the NICU team. She also mentored new nurses and showed them the ropes. She was also continually concerned with her colleagues she worked with. Whether they suffered from diabetes or from neck pain or knee pains, Rosalind was there to ease their suffering by either giving them a book about what ailed them or finding that specific pressure point to rid them of their pain, which, by the way, all attested was true, and their pain was relieved. She had a caring and gentle soul and performed many random acts of kindness through the years. She gave credit where credit was due and offered it without hesitation. She was instrumental in the nomination and winning of the Daisy Award for Vilma. For that, Vilma was so grateful. Her thoughtfulness was expressed by one nurse as she reflected on the day of yet another potluck being given for a social worker who was leaving. Rosalind had called in sick that day and couldn't be there, but had ordered lasagna to be delivered for everyone. How often do you see someone do that on their sick day? She loved Christmas and took pleasure in giving out little gifts to the nurses she cared so much about. She always seemed to remember in particular what each liked. In fact, memories of the NICU Christmas parties at the Sportsman's Lodge arose. Leave it to Rosalind to pick out the perfect present, according to her, for Dr. Halpern, the much-needed ginkgo biloba. Thanks, Dr. Halpern, for your good sense of humor. It was her quick wit, her selflessness, and her heart of gold that will be missed so much. Her devotion to her family was unwavering, whether it was for her mom and dad, her husband, or for her children. Working opposite shifts, she and her husband raised the kids as a team. She was so proud of her 3 beautiful girls and bragged about them regularly. She continually encouraged them and pushed them forward to the best that they could be. Her love of the Lord was obvious in her everyday life. She requested to be off every Sunday to attend church service, which Virginia was happy to accommodate. She would also be happy to discuss religion with anyone who wanted to listen. Dr. Glatz? Rosalind was strong in her convictions and steadfast in all she believed. She was beautiful, remarkable, and an extraordinary person. Rosalind has lived passionately, loved deeply, and laughed often in her life. We saw that in her everyday life at work with the babies and the families, with all of us, and it is present in all the pictures you see here today. It's hard to know why certain things take place in life. We can ask ourselves why and what happened. We can what if and if only, but no one really knows the truth of it all. We can only go on and remember how our lives were touched by Rosalind. That's not to say, they say it's not the way we are brought into this world or how we leave it, but what we have left for others in their hearts. Rosalind has left us richer with her knowledge and healthier with her food for thought, and has brought us all closer than we were before. She has entertained us, she's made us laugh, and more importantly, she has shared her life and touched us in so many ways for so many years at Northridge. We miss you, Rosalind, more than you know.
Pastor. Oops.
This is quite a personal loss for all of us. Rosalind is my best friend, was my best friend. There were special people in Rosalind's life that were outside the hospital, and I was very fortunate to be one of them. I met Rosalind when she was 15 in high school. We were on the gymnastics team together. I flew with her on the trapeze during the summers, and our memories go so deep. But no matter what we were going through in life, we kind of stayed connected. I know several years ago she had broken her back here at the hospital when she was dealing with an outpatient, and I understand she got thrown against the wall, and she was out for a couple of years. And during that couple of years, she spent a lot of time with me at my office. And I'd carry a special chair that she took her feet underneath so she could sit comfortably. And she got her real estate license, because that's what I do, and she was, Anyway, she delivered or was here at the hospital with all 4 of my brother's births. She was in my mom's living room when my father passed away with my 4 siblings. When I lost my baby, she was there. Every tragedy my family has gone through, she's just been the pillar. She's always been so strong. I've admired her strength, her courage, her humanitarianism, I'll get it. I know this is a sad time. We're going to remember her from time to time when we go about our lives, because she was that type that you'd think about and remember or call on because you needed her. I brought a board of pictures. There's some of her on the trapeze, in gymnastics at the beach, at several very important times in my life. I wish she could see and hear everything we all have to say about her. Thank you. My name is Linda.
Thank you, Linda.
Hi, my name is Shannon. I'm an RN over at Mission Community Hospital, and I work in the ER. There's one thing about Rosalind I guess we all remember, as clearly as a smile on her face. Not only was I fortunate enough to be her sister as a nurse, but also her sister in Christ. I do attend the same church as she do. And not just here, but at church, she was lovely. The smile, the joy, her fruits that she brought. She would go out of her way. If you said you liked it, she'd make sure she'd get you some more. But I'm just thankful that the Lord allowed her to be here with us as long as he did. And her smile will live forever on in all of us. And to Daryl and the family, thank you for everything. And we're always here. You're in our prayers. And Brother Howe, thank you. Thank all of you guys.
Thank you, Shannon. Pastor Rick?
I want to just take a few more minutes, share something that I know that maybe Rosalind has maybe shared with you before. But when I think of, and it's obvious from the stories and the testimonies of those of you that spoke this morning, that Rosalind definitely is a caregiver. But I want you also to know that she's in the hands of the best caregiver right now. In John chapter 10, verse 27 and 28, it says, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give unto them eternal life. They shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand." We've all seen the Good Hands commercials for one of the insurance companies. But I can tell you this morning that she's in a lot better hands than that. She's in the hands of the Lord himself. And regardless how our lives end here on earth, when someone receives Jesus Christ as their personal Savior, nothing can take them from him. Back in 1980, Rosalind began to attend a church, Faith Baptist Church in Canoga Park, through a lady that she was taking care of. And the lady kept talking to her and telling her about this church, and she started to attend. And after a while, she had the pastor come and talk to her and shared some of the greatest news that anybody could ever hear. And that is how she could know for sure that when she left this world and passed away, where she could spend eternity. We read some verses this morning out of John chapter 14. And Jesus said, "Let not your heart be troubled." Why could he say that? Well, because what he was about to do was to provide what Rosalind came to put her hope in for eternity. Now, I know there's probably a lot of folks that have different faiths and religions, but I'm just going to tell you what Jesus said. He said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me. The reason he could say that is because he did something for all of us. When he came to this earth, he came for one purpose, and that was to give his life for us. Many of you, I'm sure, are aware at this time of the year as we move into the spring that we celebrate Easter.